The key to the Dallas Cowboys offense is Dak Prescott, but it's not exactly the way you might think. So before I get into that content, don't forget to SLC, subscribe, like, and comment. Follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. So all right, the great Dak Prescott, who's had a really good year coming back from the injury he sustained early in the year. He's thrown 22 touchdowns against 14 interceptions. And I'll give you my full thoughts on why he is the key to the Dallas Cowboys offense. But I want to let you know that it is not exactly what you might think. So Dak Prescott has come back, and when he came back, now the Cowboys have the #1 offense, scoring offense in the NFL. We put up crazy numbers, crazy production. We had a 40-point game versus the Minnesota Vikings. We had another game similar to that versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Cowboys just continue to churn and burn and really put a lot of pressure on defenses and really come up with a lot of great things that schematically are just really hard to defend. And a part of Dak Prescott's success has really been his ability to read defenses. And a lot of people have things to say about the interception total and things of that nature. I'll grant you about almost half of those interceptions being on Dak Prescott. The other portion of those interceptions been on miscommunication in terms of routes.
Michael Gallup, Dallas Morning News, on the first interception. Why was the spacing so tight between Dalton and CD?
Great question. I think when you look at the play, in fairness to Dalton and CD, that it's a concept that we've been running a little deeper. So and we were kind of right on the fringe of where you want to run that, because schematically we got exactly what we were looking for. We were trying to, obviously at the inside leverage of the linebacker. You're trying to get the first Dalton, the first guy up on the safety, then CD comes right off of Dalton. So, so with Dalton getting inside of that safety, and then CD's got to be a lot tighter there. But that's a lot tighter window to throw in. So, and that's where, at the quarterback position, you have to throw that with anticipation. You can't wait for it to clear to throw it, because then now the backside's involved. So that's a trust throw. It's an anticipation throw, like most shot plays are, into the end zone. So, coverage scheme and so forth are, if you put it on the chalkboard, it's a win, but it definitely wasn't, as far as the spacing.
Also on dropped or tipped or passes that have come off the chest of wide receivers that he's thrown the ball to. And my boy Boss Cowboy did a great video breaking down the option route and things like that caused several of the interceptions. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out below. Really great content there. But Dak Prescott has been really almost a master in this offense at reading option routes and understanding exactly where his wide receivers will go. So why is Dak Prescott the key to this offense? And I know what some of you guys might be thinking. You may be thinking, well, Dak Prescott doesn't need to turn over the football. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. That's true. He doesn't need to turn over the football. He needs to do his best to take care of the football. Turnovers often cause points for the other team when they are given to them on a short field, and that team can convert into a touchdown or into a field goal. So all that stuff is correct. So Dak Prescott needs to be more accurate. Well, Dak Prescott has one of the highest QBR ratings in the league. As a matter of fact, since he's came back, speaking of touchdowns, nobody has thrown more touchdowns than him, save one other quarterback in the NFL. So that's not what I'm talking about. What makes Dak Prescott, what aspect of Dak Prescott's game makes him the absolute key for the Dallas Cowboys? I'll tell you what it is. It's Dak's running. That's right. You heard it here first. It is Dak Prescott's ability to tuck the football in key situations and run the football effectively. The ability for Dak Prescott to use his legs is the absolute key for this Dallas Cowboys offense and the success that we'll have in the upcoming games that we have in the playoffs. And hey, understanding exactly what needs to take place and when he needs to tuck the ball and run. Let me give you a fun fact that you haven't heard on any other channel except for this one. Since 2016, in the games, that's, by the way, when Dak Prescott came into the league and he was the starting quarterback, the beginning of his start as a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Since 2016, the Dallas Cowboys have only lost 6 games when Dak Prescott has run for more than 30 yards. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys, in all that time, they have only lost 6 games when Dak Prescott has run for more than 30 yards. They've lost only 1 game when he's rushed for more than 40 yards. So Dak Prescott is the great equalizer. He is the great unplanned for factor, which is what makes it key. He's the unplanned for factor for offenses. When you face teams like the Eagles, when you face teams like Baltimore, when you face teams like the Buffalo Bills, right? You plan for that quarterback to be running. You have a game plan for it. When you face the Dallas Cowboys, you really don't plan for Dak Prescott to run, although he has the ability to run and to run with effectiveness. When the Cowboys go into spread formation and everybody's dropping deep trying to cover receivers, when those receivers are not open and we get an aggressive upfield pass rush, which, by the way, in the playoffs in particular and in the game versus Washington, you'll see that Dak Prescott has the ability to step up in the pocket, pull the ball down, and take off and run for key first downs. That is going to do a variety of things for the Dallas Cowboys offense, but also the defense as well. Dak Prescott, when he tucks the ball and run, it is a game changer because Dak Prescott, A, is getting first downs. What do those first downs do? Those first downs also keep drives going. So they put us in position to convert. What does it do when Dak Prescott tucks and runs the ball? Number 2, it makes the defense readjust. In other words, it forces the defense, if he gets a couple of good runs, to adjust their scheme and to have a spy for Dak Prescott so that if he tucks and run, we have a linebacker in particular, in most cases, that will cover Dak Prescott. What does that do? The result of that is a cascade effect. What does that do? That softens the coverage. So that allows you not to drop into the deep middle part of the field a linebacker that could potentially help cover crossing routes, underneath routes, tight ends, slot receivers, in zone coverage, etc. So that actually helps open up the passing game. And the third key thing that it does when Dak Prescott runs is that it ignites the crowd. We rally. This is Dak Prescott's team. We rally around Dak Prescott. As Dak Prescott goes, this team goes. But I'm not talking about in his passing. I'm not talking about in his INTs. I'm talking about the key. The secret sauce is Dak's ability to tuck and run that football in key situations, which has always come up big for the Dallas Cowboys. And the last thing, but definitely not the least, is when Dak runs that football and he converts on first downs and big plays and points, it limits the amount of time that our defense has to be on the field. And that keeps the defense fresh. That also has resulted in teams playing from behind, which automatically results in what? More passes, more predictable passes on third downs and on first and second downs, because they are behind in the game and they're trying to catch up and get back into the game. I told you guys, it's a cascade pattern. So when Dak Prescott is able to run effectively and create those big plays with his legs, it actually helps the entire team do better. So Dak Prescott is the key for the Dallas Cowboys offense, but not in the way you think. If Dak Prescott can effectively run the ball for 3 or 4 first downs in a game, maybe 35, 40 yards a game, I'm telling you, the Cowboys are going to be nearly impossible to beat, because he is the X factor that nobody is planning for and no defense is ready for. And you can't account for Dak and account for the receivers and the tight ends and the backs that we have on this team. Dak is the new X factor. So if you like content like this, follow Boss Cowboy Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can follow me, the OC100, on Twitter. And until next time, see you.